We're going to be having a guest, and I just love her story. I listened to her story and I got so much inspired. Luzei Andrew Anderson, of course, is my name. And this show runs every Tuesday. Of course, we are always on air. That is Monday to Friday. Of course, starting sawa nyapa sawa mukaga. Friday, it's always a mashup. Of course, tugenda paka sawa munana or gwechiro. So in case you're watching, this is what we call Hard Talk. Basically, we get to people who can inspire us and who are so knowledgeable about real life, and then they tell us a story so that you can also get inspired. The lady, I was told she's going to be leaving the country, so I was like, nah, she's not supposed to leave before we at least get some information from her. So what we decided to do was at least we record something for you. Welcome to Hard Talk. What's up? How are you doing? Super excited being here, personally seeing you physically.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you coming and doing this interview on such short notice. It means a lot.
Yes, because I felt like maybe we could do it live on TV on Tuesday, and then they told me, no, Tuesday she's going to live.
Yeah, I'll be going back to the States Sunday, but I have really enjoyed this is my first visit to Africa.
Wow.
Yes, it's the first time that I've been to Africa, and I have really enjoyed myself to a point where I'm like, I'm not ready to go home yet.
How long have you been around?
This is my second week. My first week I was in Nairobi, and then I got here Sunday. Yeah, so I'll be leaving back to the States Sunday.
Yeah. So basically, people are watching and they don't know why I got so much inspired with your story. So briefly, someone who is watching and take them through. By the way, she's no. Let me not do the intros. I want you to do the intros. You tell them basically everything that you do, because it is too much.
Wow. Let's see. What do I start? So actually, my name is Kim. I do a podcast called Empress Talk, and I am also the general manager of Black Market Records.
Yes.
Wow, I am into empowering and inspiring women. I have my own story that I like to share, because I feel I was given this platform to share it, and hopefully it helps other women not be able to tell their story, but not be ashamed of their story as well, because we all go through something and it just builds us to make us stronger. So I like to, and even young girls, I try to teach them so that as they grow, start dating or doing whatever, if they start seeing certain things, they can say, wait a minute, this may not be right for me, and not just feel like they have no one to talk to. Because a lot of times women get into certain things and they don't feel they have anything or anyone to talk to, so it ends up being a longer dilemma.
We have enough time. So being the general manager for Black Market Records, it is to me, I say it is the best record label here in Uganda. The best ever.
I like to hear that.
Every artist they work with, it's always a hit. It's a hit, and they are global, almost everywhere.
Yes.
So just give me briefs on how you got that position and why you got involved in music and being creative.
Music has always been in me since I was a young girl, but during high school, which is a whole nother story, I actually ended up having 2 kids before I graduated high school. So people was like, oh, get a real job. You have to get a job to take care of your kids. So I kind of strayed away from what my real passion was. And I actually went into nursing. I went to school to be a nurse. And then as my son got older, in his teenage years, and he decided he wanted to do music, and I was like, oh, okay. So I waited till he was really serious and passionate about it, and then I said, okay, let's go all in. So now I'm at the point of like, I don't really know anything. All my training has been in the medical field. So at the age of 45, I went back to school and got my degree in music.
You look like you're in your early 20s.
Thank
Seriously,
you so much. I hope that don't turn nobody off, but yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I went back to school and got my degree in music business. That's why I tell people too that it is never too late to go back to school. Never let anyone tell you it's too old. You're too old to follow your dream.
Yeah.
So, graduated, um, graduated, and then I actually met the CEO of the company through a friend of ours. We actually went to the same church. So she introduced me to him, and I let him know what I was doing. Like I said, I was graduating from school when I met him. And so then I told him, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take about 3 months off my job, and I'm going to just come and intern with you.
Yes.
And 3 months now has been 5 years.
Wow.
I never went back.
Wow.
And I love it. I love it with all my heart. It
Being
has been
a global label, how do you deal with everyone all over the world?
that was some adjustments. But it was a good adjustment, and it taught me a lot to just, hear different genres of music, to hear really, like I said, not just the American music or not just, the African music, but we do Latin music and
Cuba,
everything. Cuba,
everywhere.
we're everywhere. So just hearing the different genres of the music and seeing how it all comes together. And, just dealing with artists and stuff is just something that I really love doing. Yeah.
It's each time I talk about black market, I'm like, these guys, they're really so good at what they're doing. So now let's leave that a little bit. So let's come to women empowerment, because when I heard your story, it was so inspirational, because I almost grew up in the same way. Mom died, my dad died like today after a week. Then my mom also died. Then I grew up in an orphanage at some church, Yeswa Kwagala. So when it comes to women, there's been something trending. We have an artist called Weasel, and it is alleged that she beat up the wife, like really beating her good.
Wow.
And then it was all over social media. And this lady, one of the people was trying to help her out. They wanted to go to the police, report, and then somehow she changed her mind. And they always keep in there. They beat them, but you wonder why can't they leave? And most of the time they keep quiet. So that's why when you told me that story, I was like, nah, I think we should share it with those people, and at least they know someone out there. You can do it even alone. So let's go to that part.
Yes, I ended up actually later in life. Well, I grew up in a home with a single mom or whatever. I had never seen domestic violence, and it was talked about. My uncles didn't do it, my brother. So it wasn't something that I really knew about. It wasn't talked about or anything. So when I was, like I said, probably later in life, when I was probably like late 30s, early 40s, I ended up being in a domestic violence relationship, and I kept thinking to myself, like, okay, what is going on? I'm not used to this. I don't know what is really happening. And so it's like, the reason why we really don't say a lot is because, one, we're ashamed.
Yeah.
Two, we feel we don't want people talking about us, like, oh, I can't believe she stayed here. And because that's the main question people say, how can you stay? And I always tell people, everybody's situation when they're in a domestic violence relationship is different. And most people stay out of fear. It's not, people will say, oh, because he financially supports me, because he does this or he does that, or, I cannot survive. Right. That's just a small part. It's just fear. It's fear because you don't know if you leave what's going to happen. You don't know, like, oh, how am I going to do this? Or if I tell somebody, are they really going to try to help me? Or if they're really going to try to say they're going to help me, but then talk about me behind my back and everything like that. So I always tell people, you never should tell someone what you wouldn't do if you have never been in that situation.
True.
So I tell people, because, people looked at me and didn't even know that I was in a domestic violence relationship because I didn't carry myself like that. I tried to hide it at all times of my life, during that year. But I just kept praying and I kept saying, God, I got to get out of this. I don't know how. And so when he finally removed me, I said to myself, I'm going to just leave it in the past and I'm just going to keep moving forward, But God was like, no, you need to do something with this now. Like this is something now that you have to talk about and teach women about. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want nobody to know my story. I mean, I was going to church. Nobody knew. And so the more it kept just being on my heart, I was just like, okay, I got to listen. And I have to share my story. And I have to help women know that there is someone out there who will listen. There are people who have been in the same situation. There are women that are in the situation now. But you have to just make that first step and take your own voice. Because when you're in that situation, you're letting the man take your voice because you don't want to talk about it. So my whole thing was, I even wrote a short film. It's called One Split Second.
One split second.
One split second. And I always say that because one split second can change your life.
True.
It only takes that split second. And it is about domestic violence, but it's like, how do you deal with it? Like, you have to see the signs. And really, when I talk to women and young girls, because I try to stop young girls from even getting into the situation, because certain things that are signs that men will say when they try to, seclude you from your friends or from your family, when they want to try to change the way you dress. And, a woman will think like, oh, he just loved me, so he just looking out for me. No, are the first signs of him trying to control you and get you in his circle. So I try to teach, young girls coming up, but I also talk to women and I want to hear what their experience was. And it's not on a judgmental thing. It's just, we're all in this together. And if you can lean on me and I can lean on you, then let's do it. So, and I remember I was at church the first time I shared my story and I was so nervous. But after I shared it, it was so tremendous how many women came up to me and said, I am so glad you told your story because I was in that too. But I didn't want nobody to know. I had men coming up to me saying, can you talk to my daughter or my cousin or my this or my that, because I believe she's in the same situation. And I was like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. But I'm glad that I did it because it also helps heal me. Because that does cause a lot of trauma, and women can be like, oh, I'm just over it, but no. But so I do try to help and talk to women and let them know that they have a voice and that there is help out there. If you think or you know that you're in that situation, on how to get out and how to survive once you are out.
So I'm looking at people right now who are watching, and more so when it comes to the ladies, and then they're like, I feel like I want to get her social media. How can they reach out to you just, to share? We find it when it comes to Uganda, I don't know about other countries, we find it easy communicating and, opening up to someone we don't know or we don't see, and we tell them our story, then, when they're physically there. So in case they want to reach out to you on social media, how can they get to you?
Yes, well, you can reach out to me. I have my Instagram and my Facebook is Empress Talk. It's EmpressTalk. So you can reach out to me on Empress Talk. And then my email is empresstalk747@gmail.com. If you want to send me an email just to talk or just to get a little advice or how did I do it or whatever, because that's a really long story, so we don't want to take up all that time. So
you talked about even the podcast.
Yes. So so I talk about it in my podcast and everything. So so those are my social media handle. So if you want to reach out, I'm more than happy to talk.
Because now I'm trying to relate with Uganda because I've been here. In Uganda, when they beat up ladies, sometimes they feel like their men love them because they beat them up. Mm-hmm. They're like, put on makeup. So when he beats me up, he's like, I think now he really, really loves me. Would it be violence in one way or another? Because for them, they feel it's cool. My husband beat me up. That means he really loves me.
Yeah, no. That does not mean that, ladies. That does not mean that at all. And that's another misconception about it that women take out of it. Oh, he loves me because, he was mad and that he beat me up because of that. And then we tend to take the blame ourselves. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have made him angry. No, that's not the case. So that is a controlling thing. And he's trying to keep you in a position to where you feel you need him. And belittle you and make you feel like you have no worth. So as I was taught and as I was told and as I kept growing, love doesn't hurt. Yeah. So if a man hitting on you and you think that's love, but love is not supposed to hurt. Now somebody's slapping you in your face, that's hurt. So how is that person loving you if he's hurting you if love is not supposed to hurt? So that's not a sign of love at all.
Because here, my main issue and something that I always talk about is a lady is in a very violent relationship, but they never leave. They never leave. They beat them up. They do crazy things. They lock them up, but they never leave. And I'm like, you can always leave at any time. Why is it that they never leave?
I think by that time their self-esteem is gone and they don't know how to get it back. So they would rather deal with a situation that they know than to leave and do something that they don't know. Yeah. So if I'm comfortable with this and I know this, then if I leave this, I don't know what's out there. So I would rather stay in something that I know. I don't like it. I know it's wrong or whatever, but I know this and I'm comfortable with it.
How would you advise such a lady?
Oh, wow.
Because they fear new beginnings.
Yeah.
New beginnings, everyone fears new stuff.
Yes.
All this fear. So how would you advise that lady? And she's there and she's like, nah. 10 years in really a violent relationship and she's like, I'm cool with it.
My first thing is you have to look in the mirror and love yourself. You have to get that strength because that's what I had to do. I had to find the strength in me in order to leave. So never say what you can't do because you just have to find the strength to do it. And you have to get that strength every day. It's not going to come. I had to plan a getaway. My getaway just wasn't pack myself up and leave. It's a plan. So you just now have to really look at yourself. And if you feel and like, I can't deal with this anymore, like I'm tired, then your first thing is to believe in yourself. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about the next hour. Don't worry about 2 hours from now. Just worry about that moment. And if you really want to get out, then get out. And then you worry about the rest when you're out.
Because you find like in some relationship whereby the lady doesn't work. So it is basically the man who supports. Mm-hmm. And now she's looking, she cannot go back to her parents because she's having kids with this guy. Right. And now they don't know where to start from.
Yeah,
that's where I come and I'm like, really, look at it. Put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
They don't know where to start from.
Being here in like Uganda and for me being from America, it is different because I do know, in America we are more self-sufficient and we try to, we will be able to get it on our own. Yeah. We don't depend on a man as much as I know here they do because that's their life, that's their well-being. And now, where do I go? And really, that is something that is really hard for me to really give an answer to, because that if you have nowhere else to go, you're not going to leave. If you can't go back to your family, you can't go to friends, or you can't go anywhere, it's hard for me to tell you, okay, well, just pick up and leave a man and you and your kids is on the street now. I would never advise that. I don't want to advise to stay in it. But I would just say you really have to think and plan about it, because my experience in the U.S. in America is different from here. So I don't really know. I know women work and stuff here, but if that man, your husband, is like your sole supporter, and you, like you said, you can't go back to your family, then that is something that now you really have to think, like, okay, what do I have to do in order to get out? If I can't go back to my family, and if I can't do this, can you maybe get a side job and save some money and move out? So I really, so that would be a hard question for me to answer for a woman here.
Because me, that's when I come in and I'm like, I wish, this was like an NGO that when things fail, at least like the way we have orphanages here, kids who are dropped on the streets, and then, there is an organization, whereby they can go there, at least house them for a while, empower them, teach them handcraft stuff. So when it comes to, have you thought about that?
I have, but not here. That's crazy. But now that you mentioned that is because I always feel like, because even though in the States there are many organizations for women, we have all kind of government issued programs that will help. But for here, that would be something that I would really think about starting, because that would give at least one person a start.
Yes.
And that is something that I will look into, because I never, like I said, this is my first trip here, so I'm getting used to everything. But that is something that down the road and stuff that I really would like to do, because I don't want people to feel like they have to be stuck in a situation, a bad situation at that, because of a financial thing, or because I have nowhere else to go.
You talked about that short film.
Yes.
When is it coming out? And how will we watch it? Will it be online, so that anytime I can go there and watch?
Yes, I actually, the script is already written. So now I'm looking into getting the production part of it. So I want to have it done by 2023.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who are going to be the acts in there? Is it going to be like, you travel to Kenya, get some footage there, work with some people, or it's going to be basically in the States?
Basically, it was going to be in the States. The movie was going to be filmed and released in the States. But, like I said, now that I'm here, you never know.
Yeah, anything can happen. The time you've been here, what is it that you've done? Where have you traveled? How have you seen the country? How has been the experience when you are here?
Yes.
Not in Nairobi.
Not in Nairobi.
Yeah. Here.
Here. Oh no, I love it here. Yeah, I love it here in Uganda. I've been around a little bit, seen some things. Now, one thing I will say that I had to get a little used to was the driving around here. Yeah.
People just drive anyhow.
People just driving, and I see motorbikes, and I see this, and I see the people just walking. I was like, don't hit them. Oh, they gonna hit us.
And Nairobi is so fast. For them, they're even so faster than you.
Yes, they are. And I think that was the one thing I used to look like, oh my gosh, how come, like, ain't nobody got no accident yet. I haven't seen an accident, but the car get just right up on you and just, I was like, oh my, because in the U.S., I didn't see any stoplights, I didn't see any stop signs, what I'm used to. So that was a different experience for me, but I loved it. But I love everything. The food is great. I love the food. So Yeah, I didn't get out and see as much as I would like because my time was short, but I'm definitely coming back.
When it comes to entertainment, what have you noticed here, which is so different from how you do it in the States?
Everything here is
In entertainment
easier.
and
In
music.
entertainment and music is easier than it is in the States. I don't have people just call up people and say, hey, well, we got so and so, they want to come have a meeting. And they're like, okay. In the States, it's like, no. You have to be high, top class, important to get meetings like that. And I love that everywhere I go, it's all black owned businesses.
Yeah, true.
In the entertainment business.
Yeah.
Especially. But yeah, I love to see that, and I just love how it's just an easier flowing job here. You know, in the States, it's like pulling teeth. If you're not at the top and you can't get nowhere. It's really like pulling teeth in the entertainment business in the States. But here, it's just like people welcome it, like they want it, they're hungry for it, so they're willing to help you in any way they can. Oh, you want to go to the TV station? Oh, you want to go to the radio? Oh, come on, I got you, let's go. So that has been a great experience for
So
me as
now
well.
there is something that Ugandans, I don't know if I'm asking the right person, but I think I'm asking the right person. You know, we do music here and people wanted to cut across, yeah? I've seen Burna Boy do great stuff, you know, in the States. And now Ugandans, like we have the likes of Daddy Andre, we have the Nina Rose, Angela Katuchumba, all under the same label, Black Market Records. And now they also feel like they want to come to the States and then have stadiums do performances there. You know, their music plays on radios and TVs, and at least they know them that side, and they can get that portion of business sense when it comes to the side. Why is it so hard for us Ugandans to cut across the States, since you work with all these international guys all over?
It's not as hard as it may look. Like you said, with the Burna Boys, the Wiz Kids, and all of them, it's just more of, like I said, getting the business aspect of it right, and then getting the artist to a point of, okay, we don't take you away from your heritage or your tradition, but you also got to add a little English into what you're doing to get the States to hear you. And then once the States hear you, it opens up a different door. So it's just the building of the artists and getting them prepared and letting them know, okay, so when we're at this level, like now we need to add a little, English to the mix so we can get these audiences to pay attention.
Which artists have you been listening to the time you've been here in Uganda? Which artists have you listened to, whether you're in a car or you're home or at the hotel? The artists you've listened to and you're like,
now that is kind of not a fair question. Because, of course, I listen to our artists. But on the radio, I don't know her name, but I hear they play her a lot. And I don't know I know the song kind of go like, she taking my man. I don't know who the song is. I don't know who the artist is, but I've seen the video and I've heard the song on the radio a lot. And that's the only part I remember. She's taking my man and something else. So yeah, I hear her a lot. Of course, I listen to Daddy Andre and Nina Ross. I don't want to sound like, she only listens to those people, but yeah.
What is so special with Daddy Andre, with your hearing touch? What is so special? What is that uniqueness that he's got that you can spot out?
Oh, Daddy Andre
that makes him so different to you.
Because just listening and watching him work, he is a genius at what he does, and he's passionate about.
That's the exact thing I would say. So I was waiting for you to see whether you would mention the genius part of it.
Yes, and he is passionate about what he does, and he doesn't mind doing it. You don't have to pull teeth to say, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And that's what makes a great artist all around, for them to love what they do and to just do
your
it.
podcast, for people who want to follow, each time you're there, they could be listening in and watching it.
Yes, yes,
you have
yes.
a schedule like, each day, this time, you can always, meet it.
Yes, so I do Empress Talk. That is my podcast, and we have hot topics. I have people email us questions, and then I post it on social media. So on YouTube, it's just Empress Talk. That's the YouTube name, Empress Talk. So go on there, check it out, subscribe, follow, comment, all of that stuff. And I just have fun doing it. And actually, we are setting up, because I did a lot of shows while I was out here when I was in Kenya, actually. And now I added a different vibe to it, because the topics that we are getting, I give the prospect from the American side, and then my panel gave their advice from the African side.
The real stuff.
Yes, they gave their, and so
What's
it's like,
on
let's
that?
see how different this is. So we just did one on polygamy. Oh,
It's very okay. Here it's very, very okay. Very okay.
You know what? We got a lot of mixture on that. So y'all stay tuned for that one, because that one's coming out really, really soon. And I mean, we had men and women, so it just wasn't women. We had some men that were for it. We had some men that were against it. We have women that was for it, women that was against it. So it brought another dynamic to the show. So we are going to still try to, incorporate that even when I go back to the U.S. to see how we can, on these topics, see how we can, do it to get both sides and people really pay attention. So and I love doing it.
Because you've done lots of things, and you've worked with very many people. When it comes to you as an individual, what's that one thing, and you're like, if I achieve that, I would retire, and I will retire, a proud lady, and you're like, I wish if all goes well, I want to do that.
Oh wow. Oh, so that's a couple of things, but
We can go through that.
So for my show, for Empress Talk, I want to be syndicated. I really want to be on TV. So I want to be I want to reach that level with my show. Then I will be like, I did that. I started that from the ground, and I built it up, and now I'm syndicated, and now I'm the new Oprah. Love me some Oprah. I'm not saying, nothing bad about Oprah. But, and just to achieve that. Now, the music side of it is like, man, ooh,